You told me.
Because I told you. Exactly.
I had an injury.
Yes, so you had an injury. So obviously we're seeing various things you're told to. So for me, my job is to clarify what you've been taught and just to make sure that you're doing it, and maybe to improve your tolerance, and so that you don't avoid, because sometimes it hurts too much. And then you're like, it hurts, I don't want to do it. So I want to clear that up tonight. It's always my goal is just to make sure you guys know why, and that you're doing it to your best. Now, does anybody roll their glutes? Okay. You roll your glutes? Okay. Why do you roll your glutes?
Because it hurts really good.
Okay, so you do it. Do you have pain at all?
Only when doing it.
Okay, so it's not, you don't do it because they're sore, you just like the way it feels. Okay, that's good. Okay, it's all good.
I'm just looking at it.
All good. So, I'm just gonna, can you come up and show me how you roll?
Well, I usually do it with a tennis ball.
Oh, let's change that up tonight.
Okay.
We're gonna do a lot of changing and educating tonight, so can you do what you would do on a ball on the roller for me, up here?
Okay.
Okay, so whenever I talk about rolling, I talk about 3 variables. Okay, body position, so it puts you on the muscle, so go for it, get into your body position. Does that feel pretty stable?
Not really. Usually I've used my hands.
Okay, oh, so that's even better, because that was pretty dangerous for your tailbone. So that unsupported way, not a good idea. So you have some support, so that's good. Now, unfortunately, that's mostly on the bone on the back, so you're not really hitting your muscles all that well. So what body position does is it puts you right on that muscle, because if you're gonna spend the time rolling, you might as well make it work, right? Okay, now the technique, can you show me what your technique was on how you rolled? Can you just roll again for me? Do the motion. Okay, so you can see it's a big, more flowy, longer movement. Okay, that's good. Okay, good. Okay, so one of the rules when we're rolling is the shorter you go, the deeper you get, because you're more isolated and it's more controlled. So what happens there is by doing that already with your technique, you're not getting as deep as you want to be going.
Okay.
So we saw with the body position, you were right on the muscle. The technique, you weren't going maybe as deep as you could if you were on the glute. And the third variable is the roller. How does that roller feel? Feel good?
Feels too big.
Too big? Okay. Well, there's other ones that are here that are a little smaller, so it's good. But the roller is the third variable, and I'm going to get into why each of those are obviously important. So we're going to change this up, okay?
Okay.
So you can go have a seat, and I'll bug you in a sec. Okay. So that was good. Okay, so those are 3 important variables, because the body position there didn't actually have you on your glutes. So you're not going to get that true effect of glute rolling, okay? And then the technique, again, we have to get deep, and that's what we call therapeutic, right? Because really when you break it down, what is rolling? Rolling compresses the muscle. So the more it can compress it to a certain level, the more therapeutic it would be. Would that make sense? So a lot of us get on rollers that aren't firm enough, and we think we're getting results that we're supposed to be getting, but we're really not. So that's why my job is to clarify and make sure you're getting the best out of what you're doing. Okay? So we're going to start with glutes tonight, just because we know the importance of glutes. Everybody knows the importance of glutes? Yes? Okay? What are the importance of glutes? What do your glutes do?
Things look good.
They do. They do. Okay, but what do they do for you as a runner?
They help move your legs.
They do. So movement, and you know what a bigger one is? Stability. Stability, exactly. So it is a bit of power, but it depends which one. When we talk about glutes, for me specifically, I talk about the deeper glutes, because you know what? Those are the ones that stabilize your hips. A little bit important, because what happens is if they're weak and every time you plant, guess where your leg starts to go? Inward. That's probably not a good idea. Right? So we want to have good, strong glutes. Does anybody have weak glutes here? Okay.
Not anymore.
Good. You have weak glutes?
Probably.
Okay. What makes you think you have weak glutes?
Because I'm sore.
Okay, so you're sore. Okay, so I want to clarify this tonight. Who else has weak glutes?
Yeah, we all do.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You have weak glutes?
Well, you tend to use the bigger muscles like this. Well,
Okay. So I get this a lot, and I like to clarify because I'm gonna be very clear on things tonight and get a little bit technical so that you understand. Okay, so you guys are runners, and every time you stride, you land on one foot. So what muscle in your hip doesn't work? You have to think about that, right? Every muscle in your hip works. Some do movement and some do stability, but they're all working. Why would they be weak? I get this a lot because people come into my office and they say, oh, here's my sheet of exercises. I have these weak glutes. I'm a runner. So not only do I run with this high impact activity, but I also need to strengthen. Does that make any sense to anybody? It shouldn't. It shouldn't. You shouldn't need to strengthen in addition. You don't think running strengthens you enough? So I'm trying to clarify some things. Okay, so for you having weak glutes, you said my glutes are sore. Does it make more sense that your glutes would be weak with all the volume of training you're doing? Or would it make sense that maybe your glutes are straining a little bit?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? If you're running, especially for you guys, like you're doing a good mileage. And so the more you run, the weaker you get, or you're not training any of your glute muscles, trust me, they all work when you run. It doesn't matter, it's because you're not running sideways, that doesn't matter. Anything on the side, there's for stability. Every muscle in your butt should work because you're doing a high impact activity. Are we clear on that? Okay, so now, if you have something going on with your glutes, well, what does that mean? Okay, and now I'll clarify for that for you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna have you come on up. Okay, I know. I'm gonna get you to lay on your side. I'm gonna see if your glutes are weak. So I'm gonna get you to lay on your side, face the group.
Shoes on or shoes on?
Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever you like. Okay, so do you think your glutes are gonna be weak or strong?
I guess.
Okay.
You already said weak.
Okay, I said weak.
You said weak, see, that's why I'm picking on you a little bit. Tip forward here, just a little bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna apply a little bit of pressure, right? So nothing major, you should be able to resist me. Push your leg up toward the ceiling. Push up. Okay? Not so great, is it?
No.
No. Okay, come sit up. You can stay here with me though. Okay, so does it make any sense for the amount of running you do that your hips should be pushed down by me? If you're landing like this,
Yeah.
that's more than I'm pushing.
Yeah.
So what that means for you is there's a lot of this happening. You know, it predisposes you to just muscles getting sore, right? Okay, so we're finding a weakness, but you're a runner. So there should be a disconnect for you. And you should say, oh man, okay, so why am I weak? Because a lot of you always just attribute it to, I'm just tight, I'm just weak, I'm sore. But we never ask why. Why are you tight? Why are you sore? Tightness is there for a reason, because everybody wants to stretch and take that tightness and do this. You can't take tightness and do that. Tightness is there for stability. If tightness is there, it's there for a reason. So then you ask, why? And the same reason, you're gonna say, well, I'm a runner, so that doesn't make sense, so why am I weak? Okay? So let's figure out why you're weak. So I'm gonna get you to roll your glutes, okay? So we're gonna pick on that left side that you did, so I'm gonna get you to roll your left glute, okay? And face the group for me. So I'm gonna get you to just lay on your side and put this under your butt.
This. I've never done this.
Put your elbow, your left elbow here, and you're just gonna put this under your bum. Okay,
This?
do you want me to? Let me show you. It's all good. I know. I kind of just expect you to get this, but it's okay. I just want you to like this.
Okay.
Okay? I want you to do it on your left side. I know. It's okay. You can face this way. It's all good. It's whatever your preference is. So down on your elbow. Okay? And I want you to bend this lower leg. There we go. Turn the leg up. So that's good. Does that feel comfortable? Okay, now I'm going to move the roller up. So lift up for me for 1 sec so it's not on the hip bone right there. So you want your hip bone right here below the roller. Okay? Put your leg down. Good. And now all I want you to do is a very short rocking motion. Yep. So you push with this foot and then you push back with the elbow and you create a rocking. So that's a little bit long. I want a nice little shimmy, quicken it up, just like you're sanding something. Okay? There you go. That's perfect. Now I want you to do that for 5 seconds. So now we're looking at, this is the right body position because you're on the muscle in the right place. We're going to apply the right technique. Okay, I teach a segmental technique. That's you work on small, isolated pieces of a muscle, 5 seconds each, Okay, and then you work throughout the muscle. So now after 5 seconds, you're gonna turn forward. Okay, but keep this up because that's your push foot. So you just keep turning and you keep pushing, so keep going. Okay, so remember those 3 variables, right? So we're gonna use the right body position and you're gonna keep turning. I want you to keep turning toward me with your hips, okay? The right technique. Okay, how's it feeling right now?
Kind of nice.
Good. So, see, so here's where I'll clarify. It's not painful.
No.
It feels good, doesn't it?
Yep.
Because it's tolerable. Because you found it right for you.
Yep.
So it's important. I want you to keep turning. Go. Keep that knee up. Yeah, because it's your push foot, right? You're creating that rocking motion. Because if you stay stationary, that's just compressing it. That's not rolling. Okay, we need that movement. And you see it's just at a nice steady pace so we can maintain control, maintain what we're doing. How's that feel? Now what we do is always 2 times through a muscle. So I just want you to repeat starting back at the start, and this stabilizes you, okay? And then you just go through each spot again for me. You do that? Okay, so you notice how the leg is on the bench here? The knee is down. Does anybody understand why we would do that for the glutes? To relax them, exactly. Because what's going to happen is we're trying to get deep into this muscle to get a therapeutic effect from the massage. So what happens is as soon as you start to tense muscles by, again, the body position, because that helps you get effectively in the muscle, once you start tensing muscles, you're going to push them out, and then you're going to try to keep getting aggressive and then really using your body and fighting with it. And honestly, if you just relax, you're not going to have to fight with it. So, do you feel like you did a good job?
Yes.
Lay on your side, face the group. Awesome. All right, you can lay on your side, face the group. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Lift the leg up, tip forward for me. You got it?
Yeah.
Push up toward the ceiling, really hard. Push, push.
That's easier.
Okay? Yeah. Okay, do you want to hang here for me with 1 sec, if you don't mind? Okay. Hang here. Okay, so let's clarify. Were your glutes weak?
No.
No, they were inhibited, weren't they?
Yep.
Okay, so what happens is you guys do a lot of volume and you tend to overstress muscles. That would make more sense than a muscle spontaneously going weak, seeing as muscles fire basically from a signal from the brain to the muscle, right? So there's really no reason for it not to fire, okay? But what happens is when muscles get overworked, they tend to strain. Okay, so we strain a little bit, we strain, but then it's cumulative because you guys add up your miles and cumulative. And then we get to this threshold. And then the sensors in your muscle, they won't let you go past that threshold. So it's a reflex within the muscle to protectively, it just protectively inhibits itself. This is inhibition. Okay, this is what rolling does. Because a lot of people come in and say, I'm weak. And I say, no, you're not. You're inhibited. And this is what rolling does. So what do we know? We know stretching to strengthen. Strengthening to strengthen a muscle if it's weak, but this isn't weak. We know stretching to improve flexibility, and we know rolling to clear up strain and inhibition. So you have to categorize what it is. Are you strained? Because weakness really shouldn't be in your minds if you have a lot of volume. Is everybody clear on that? And you're like, wow, this is a new concept. It is, I know, but you're inhibited. Because muscles don't go weak the more you train, they get stronger the more you train. So yes, we get overuse injuries in the lower extremity just because muscles do go weak, but we have to understand why they go weak. They're becoming strained or inhibited, and that's why we roll. And this should also help you understand, okay, so if rolling helped my glutes to work better, maybe it might work to roll before I go for a run. Say versus after, because the stronger you are going into it, the less they would break down during, right? See how when you understand what rolling does and all about rolling, it just answers basically every other question you have about rolling? Does that make sense? Okay, again, it came down to those 3 variables for you to be successful though, okay? It was the right body position, the right technique, because in getting deep into the muscle, it was therapeutic, and we were able to remove the inhibition. And then so the roller. So that's where what I think we should try, as I always like to do, is practice on a different roller. We could pick any roller there, but I'm just going to just pick the generic one. Can you roll on your other side? And let's test it first so everybody can see. So we did the left side. So lay down on your left side this time. Okay, here we go. Okay, bring the leg back a little bit. And you can feel the pressure of my hand. You know I'm not going to push too hard. Push up toward the ceiling. Go for it. And you know that that's just going to give. And try so I've got this. I know. Okay. Can you roll your right glute the exact same way you rolled that last one, please? Anybody have any questions?
So when you have an injury,
Yes.
is it this? It's not an inhibition, then it's more of a tightening of the muscle.
When you have an injury, the tissue has broken down. Now, it can be the tissue that we're talking about, like a glute, if you have glute pain. Otherwise, what tends to happen most often is people are unaware of this, that they have this, but they get injured elsewhere because those are the compensators. What happens a lot of time is a muscle will break down, and that's okay for our body to handle because we have compensators. We get injured when the compensators break down. So that's why if we can always work on the compensators, say the thigh muscle, right, the calf, various things, but we also get to the root cause of why that would happen. That's why we strategize with rolling. And that's why when you understand what's going on with you, you can better know what to do.
My question is, can you roll an injury? Or?
Can you roll an injury? Yes, for sure. So that glute was strain inhibited. It was strained. And by working it, it actually reset it. So you could imagine as the more strength it has, the more support it has for recovery, right? And yes, you can break down that tissue to repair it. So it does a lot of things, not just one, not just breaking down the traumatized tissue, right? Say various scar tissue and trauma within the muscle, but it also makes it stronger to support that. Sometimes what we fail to see is that we just look at, oh, this is just the one technique that's going to work on this. That's why when people get treated, they're like, well, what kind of treatment's going to work for me? Really? None of them. It's what you do with them. It's the understanding, right? And that's why you work functionally. That's why the roller is a functional tool, because it works on so many levels on restoring function, offering support, and allowing change to happen. Because once you're functional, right, then your body becomes more responsive to change. So if you have a tight, sore glute, if it was stronger and it starts to heal and it's stronger, you'd probably loosen it up because it's tight because of the reactiveness. See how it all fits together? So yes, if you have a calf strain, roll your calf. If you have a sore glute, roll your glute. Okay? Yes.
And you talked about injuries occurring because the compensators fail.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
So I'm dressed in jeans tonight because on Sunday my plantar fasciitis flared up.
Okay.
So I want to keep running, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
know my foot is sore.
Okay.
So
we'll work on a protocol for you throughout the night tonight, just because you have to know more about how it's all connected. Okay, so we'll do glutes first, and then you'll see how it all goes. And yes, if you have it, absolutely, the first thing you should be doing is rolling your foot. Okay, but then you should be rolling the lower half of your shin, then you should roll your piriformis, then you should roll your glute, and I'll connect it all for you. But once you understand all the players, you can do more,
yeah.
right? You roll it? Same way, right? Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, it shouldn't be that strict, but hopefully, if you lay down your side. So you would think that if you had the right body position and the right technique, that should have worked, right? Tip forward. Okay, push up toward the ceiling. I know. See, but that's where most people think, oh, but I rolled. Don't I get that result? Can you roll that for me on that right glute?
I think he set you up.
Okay. So do the same thing now, okay? Okay. Yes.
So why, when you go to a physiotherapist or massage therapist, the first words out of their mouth are, "You're weak"?
I know. I ask the same question all the time when I get these little handouts. And I'm like, so you have weak glutes? You're a runner? And you're doing this? How long have you done this exercise program for? 6 to 8 weeks? And it's not working? No. And people just keep doing this. And I ask myself the same thing all the time. Honestly, it's just maybe a lack of understanding muscle physiology. I don't know. It's unfortunate, but I'm trying to change that. And yeah, that's the plan. So you know better, and I'm trying to teach people to make everybody else what they're saying no better. Because honestly, it's going to go down as the same thing as roll your IT band. Okay? Do you roll your IT band? Do you? Why?